extend a hearty welcome to all the students, scholars, and teachers of philosophy across the country to be connected with us in this students' webinar. On 26th December, we conducted the students, the past students webinar, in which 5 UG students and 6 research scholars joined as participants, and their presence made the webinar series successful and very meaningful. Today we have with us 6 participants today, and they belong to both the UG and the PG. 2 students are from PG standard and 4 students belong to UG standard. They are Ms. Ankita Podar, Ms. Smruti Rekha Nayak, Ms. Jyoti Vishwas, Ms. Barsha Bisoi, Ms. Lakshmi Ghatwali, and Ms. Subhasi Patra. I welcome all of them to today's webinar. Today we have with us the respected judges, Professor Paresh Chandra Das sir, Professor Anup Rai sir, Professor Dr. K. Om Rao sir, and I also welcome all the sponsors of the students webinar program. On this occasion, I welcome to our admin and supervisor of all the papers and the man behind, the main architect of the entire program, Professor Pramod Kumar Das of Noyagoda Autonomous College, Noyagoda. I welcome him. With this, I also welcome all the senior teachers to be connected with this virtual academic program. On this occasion, it's time to call upon the first presenter of today's webinar, Ms. Ankita Podar. Ms. Ankita Podar is a PG student, beautifully submitted their observation on different aspects of inner mechanism and self-purification. And at last, Pramod Das has very beautifully given her his submission regarding as a mark of synopsis of this paper. Now, over to the next presenter. Our next presenter is Miss Lakshmipriya Ghatwali, first year student plus the first student, Balugang College. Her topic is importance of ethics and value, a philosophical reflection. It's a very good topic that she has taken, because this year the government has introduced the paper ethics and value in Odisha, on which actually she has taken the topic. Over to Ms. Lakshmipriya for reflecting upon her paper, importance of ethics and value, philosophical reflection. Over to Lakshmipriya.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. Myself, Lakshmipriya Ghatwali, +3 first year student, Philosophy Honours in Balugang College, Balugang. Respected jury members, my supervisor, Professor Pramod Kumar Das sir, the coordinator and my teacher, Dr. Karasindra Maharana sir, and the respected all the viewers and my co-participants. At the outset, I would like to convey my gratitude to all the members of the organizing committee of Philosophy Family for giving me this opportunity to present my paper in the students webinar. The theme on which I am going to present my paper is the importance of ethics and values, a philosophical reflection. Now let me present my paper. The aim of writing this paper is to reflect on the importance of ethics and values for developing the awareness of right and wrong among the students, including a positive attitude and a healthy work culture. In order to develop a good human being and responsible citizen, this year the Department of Higher Education, Government of Odisha, has introduced a course on moral education, namely ethics and values. This curriculum is meant for all students of all streams and as such taken as a compulsory syllabus in the degree course. In this paper, I intend to focus on the philosophical basis of ethics and values. Let me first discuss the concept of ethics and values. Ethics aims at presenting a moral system and prescribes ethical paradigms to adopt a certain way of life, morally the best life. Ethics teaches us to know what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is bad, what is morally possible and what is morally obligatory. In the simple words, ethics as moral philosophy teaches a code of life and regulates man's life in the mundane world. Hence, it ought to be clarified that ethics acts as a vehicle and a guide for a good life. It does not compel us to follow straight path for good living. Its job is to show the right path and to warn us the consequence of the wrong path. It is the duty of man to adopt either of the two, good or evil, and hope for your or be ready to face punishment. No person is responsible for the guilt of another. Every person is morally responsible for what he does. Ethics prescribes a number of good values like truth, justice, honesty, sympathy, generosity, patience, bravery, broad-mindedness, and many other values for living a good life and a desired life. All these values are universally acknowledged. Values may be defined as qualities that a person learns to believe as important. By value, we mean the desirable ideals and goals which are extrinsic values. Distinction is made between extrinsic or instrumental values and intrinsic values. An instrumental value serves as a means for the achievement of some other end. For example, food has value because it serves as a means to keep us alive. So food is instrumental to life. Intrinsic value, on the other hand, does not serve as a means for the attainment of some other end. It is accepted as an end in itself. It is valued for its own sake. Truth is to be respected not because it satisfies some other demand or desire, but because it is a desire in itself. While the list of instrumental values has no end, the number of intrinsic values is reduced to three only: truth, beauty, and goodness. Albert Einstein once said that our inner balance and our very existence depend on our moral action. Only morality in our actions can give beauty and dignity to life. What is important in our human life is character building or inculcating a virtuous life. Socrates said, knowledge is virtue. Buddha said, learning is a good theory, but it is not enough. Truth, wisdom is obtained by practice of virtue. Jesus Christ said, love thy neighbor as thyself. Gandhi emphasized on human transformation through education, but not through acquiring information. Therefore, love, compassion, forgiveness, and such other values are accepted as a theory in courses of higher education, but these are difficult to be implemented in practice. But Gandhi thought of implicating these values in practical life. Today, public life has been polluted. There is crisis of value everywhere. Education seems to be the last hope of humanity. Anything that helps us like a close friend in the time of distress is only the moral values. Anything that inspires us to sacrifice for the good of others or for a great cause is a spiritual value. Nowadays, value crisis is a hard reality in every phase of life. It is a cause of serious concern to the mankind. The intellect of individual is growing and growing, but the spirit is becoming darker every day. So value crisis deepening day to day with rapid advancement in knowledge, science, and technology. The crisis of values is found in schools, colleges, and universities, among students, and in other walks of life. The downward journey of value is really the function of deep reflection. Therefore, time has come to guide educational thinking to overcome the value crisis. I believe that teachers could be one of the most powerful agents. Their little effort could do wonders. The teachers are conscious of their roles. They are real force to influence the society in general and students in particular. Teachers have to be sincere in all what they say, and they have to lead others by their own exemplary behavior. There is no substitute for good teaching. It is possible by the three instruments of thinking. They are instruction, influence, and example. All these three instruments are essential for inculcating good values in the character of the students. Human life is the quest for the relation of the transcendental values like truth, beauty, and goodness. These are said to be the ultimate goal of life. Tinny intention is neither to discuss the ultimate goal of life nor the highest values of life, but to reflect upon the common human values. The students have to calculate them in their life. The distinctive condition of man is that he is a value-seeking being. Man not only lives but also critically reflects on his doings. He does moral action and reflects upon his actions. It makes him to live a good life. In every segment of life, the good life contains only such values which are desirable. What is deserved by a large number of individuals is likely to be desirable. For example, happiness, love, justice, social harmony are always appreciated by all society. The principles like telling the truth, committing no violence, love thy neighbor are the pictures of good life. The Indian theory of Purushartha is said to be the theory of noble human values such as Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. I must congratulate the government of Odisha for introducing the new subject ethics and values in undergraduate syllabus with the following subjects. Number 1 is developing good human beings and responsible citizens. Number 2, developing a sense of right and wrong, leading to ethically correct behavior. And number 3 is inculcating a positive attitude and a healthy work culture. This course includes the ethical issues relating to women, values and good citizen, crisis of values as issues of drug, tobacco and alcohol addiction. Ethical values for students' life, understanding the issues of vulnerable sections of society and environmental and techno-ethics. It contains the ethical issues relating to use of digital media. It is also a fundamental question of whether value education is required at all for students seeking higher education. Some argue that modern life is based on science and technology and the world is progressing fast without any values. I would like to say that there is the need of imparting common moral values to young generations to enable them to grow into genuine human personalities. The reason is that man is good by nature. He likes to be good to himself and to others. Similarly, he avoids evils and wants to save others from evil effects. This explains that most human values are universal. In all the religions, truthfulness is appreciated and speaking a lie is condemned. The universality of values should become a source of strength for mankind. This should become a part and parcel for our life and a source of inspiration for the youth so that they can be capable of creating a balance between materialism and spirituality. I greatly admire the introduction of ethics and value in the syllabus of undergraduate level. If the teachers properly train the youths and inspire them, then the students would get opportunity to be influenced and inspired by them to lead a virtuous life. If the students would be given opportunity to reflect upon their actions, then it can fill the gap between the theory and the practice of moral values. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much, Lakshmi Priya, for your conceptual clarification of ethics and values. You have mentioned different kinds of values to be practiced in everybody's life to make a good life. But actually, you have also mentioned that there's a big gap between the theory and practice of morality. And you have mentioned how teachers should be role model, how the teachers should be the living example to inspire students in order to make a good life, in order to practice morality in the day-to-day affairs. Thanks so much, Lakshmi Priya, for taking such a nice topic. And you have also very beautifully presented it. Now over to Professor Dr. K. Omanan Rao for moderating the interactive session.
Thank you, Marana sir. Well, as usual, I request the participants to unmute anybody who is interested to ask any question to Lakshmi Priya. They are welcome. They can unmute their microphone and they may either make their observation or may ask a question. I'll wait for half a minute or else I will move to Professor Kailash Das. Somebody is unmuting.
Sir.
Yes, Prasad. Yes. Welcome.
Okay, thank you, sir. Lakshmi Priya, though you are you have presented a very nice paper on the recent decision of the Odisha government to make a syllabus for the undergraduate students where they will be taught, ethics and values. Though the content of the syllabus, so far I have gone through, is not that much ethical. Okay, all right. Okay, so do you think, morality, okay, can morality be taught in the classroom? This is could you please reflect on this from Aristotle's point of view and from your own perspective?
Thank you, sir. Sir, in the classroom, where teachers are one of the agents, they are conscious of their roles, and the students would know knowledge from the teachers that they have what they say and what they behave, सर मैं हिंदी में बोलना चाहूंगी. सर एक्चुअली स्टूडेंट्स जो होते हैं वो एक्चुअली क्लासरूम में बेहद वो टीचर्स से बहुत कुछ सीखते हैं कि वो क्या करते हैं और वो कैसे पढ़ाते हैं और वो कैसे बर्ताव करते हैं उन लोगों के साथ. सो वो उनके हिसाब से ही वो अपना एटीट्यूड, अपना पर्सनालिटीज वो बदलते रहते हैं. And in this sense, I can say, in the classroom, students are, मतलब जो students जो हैं वो teachers से बहुत कुछ सीखते हैं. I think morally वो बहुत कुछ सीखते हैं.
Okay, thank you. So what you are trying to say is that, though or morality may not be systematically taught, or you cannot make people moral by our preaching only, but morality can be sought and caught from the etiquette of the the so-called moral exemplars or our respected seniors, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lakshmi Priya and Prashantji for your question. Well, let's anybody who wants to raise any question. Well, Hitler Bear, he wants.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
So from here, I want to ask a simple question, sir. That we people are means Western ethics and Indian ethics. There is a vast difference, sir. For example, as we know, in Western philosophy, ethics is practiced as a subjective. There is a class, there is all subject. We may choose it or we may not choose it. But in an Indian context, whatever we are saying, it must be practiced. Then we will be say that it is ethical. For example, we know that. For example, we observe that if a teacher is saying this is a right, and unless or until he will not practice it, we will not say that the teacher is ethical. So how in our system, how we will be accept that subject as our study, sir? Basically, in Western philosophy, in Western world, ethics is completely a choice. We may choose it or we may not choose it. In Indian how we will be, Indian people will be see the ethics. This is my question, sir.
Yeah, Lakshmi Priya, did you get the point?
In my point of view, ethics is the moral philosophy, and in this sense, ethics teaches us to what is right, what is wrong, what is good and what is bad, and how to do right action in our life. In the syllabus, government has been very good decision and very interesting subject and compulsory in our degree course.
like for developing the students in their life. So एक्चुअली मैं फिलोसॉफी में बिगिनर हूँ, तो मैं इतना ज्यादा एथिक्स से इतना भी जानती नहीं हूँ, तो मैं इतनी अच्छी तरीके से मैं समझ नहीं पाई, तो सॉरी. Actually, ethics is a very big concept. So whether we are choosing ethics, we know everything. Actually, sir, whether I am the beginner of philosophy and I don't know about all about the ethics. So, sir, sorry.
Anyway, no issue. Okay, Lakshmipriya, well, let's,
Sir, actually, my question is to you, sir. Sir, Kevunaran, sir. You already told that he is a first year student, so you couldn't give the answer, sir.
Okay. So what you say is, in the Western context, when we take ethics, as you say, it's a matter of choice. But in the Indian context, what you wish to say, it's a matter of practice. So, so your point of view is that whatever theories that we have in the Indian sense, they need to reflect in our practical behavior. So that really makes a sense. So here, where the study of ethics, the question on whether the study of ethics really influences one's practical life is a big question mark. If it is not influencing one's practice, then the study of ethics makes no sense in building a value system. So when we talk of Indian systems, especially we were talking about we're making a reference to Bhagavad Gita, where say you know something and you are acting in a different manner. There is no parity between the theory and the practice. Then it makes no sense. So in the Indian system, that's why it's said, the way you know, you become that. The knowledge has to be translated into your action. So that makes sense in the Indian context, and that is highly reflected in the Indian context, that knowing means becoming. So if you know something, you have to become that. So that is what can be said in the Indian context, but as you say in the Western context, that point is somehow missing. So that's how I find Indian system is more practically oriented, because the theory does not lie in theory itself. It has to be practiced. Then only it makes sense. So this is my observation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Well, moving to Kailash Das sir to have some questions for Lakshmi.
Thank you, Lakshmipriya. Congratulations that you have attempted a topic which is very much relevant to government policy of implementing value education among our students, irrespective of all departments. So everybody should be taught value systems. That it has attracted your attention, and therefore you have prepared a webinar topic about this value system that we need so much. Actually, Lakshmipriya, being a first year student, you have a lot of scope to improve your ideas about this. That value system, why it was felt that value system should be taught to everybody, and why should we be taught value system? Can we preach and teach and make people moral? This remains a question to the whole initiative for teaching value system. And how does it make sense to say that if you people know what is right and wrong, people know what is good and bad, what is very dangerous and what is not dangerous, what is beneficial for society, and all these things they know. But still, we find at large, India being a country of great heritage, all great things are said here in our philosophical traditions of ancient civilization. Most ancient civilizational values are taught here, but we are probably one of the worst corrupt countries in the world, and we say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, but we have this caste system, and we hate people, those who do not, and we have a lot of gap among every circle. We find there is a class distinction, discrimination, there is a caste discrimination, lot of evils are there in our society. though our ancient value systems say this opposite, and we are just contradicting all these things in a price. We are saying we are a spiritual country, but we are the worst materialists. We take bribes, even if we are great people and learned people. Our engineers are corrupt, our doctors are corrupt, our teachers should not be corrupt. But you have given lot of responsibility to teachers, because you are saying that the teachers are our role models, because we are listening to teachers every day and looking at their life. If the teachers become immoral, then it has a bigger impact than anybody else. So you have put lot of pressure on teachers to become very moral for students to follow examples. But coming to topic, your topic, that is today it is felt everywhere that what we can do and what we should do. Whatever we can do, we should do it. That is the whole problem. Of our society, to make it a progressive society, to make it a developed society, and to reach the highest potential of every citizen, every individual in our society. So we want a society which is a just society. To reach this ideal society, we are going step by step, and one of the steps that government thought, or Department of Higher Education thought, or the people in helm of our thought, that everybody should be taught minimum of value systems that we have. That means it can at least inspire people that to adopt a good life, to do good and be good. To do good and be good, inspiration will come from where? If we again reflect over our old traditional values, and we have a comparative value studies all over the world. So why this is very relevant? Again, it has come from day by day, values are progressing. If you see, in our ancient times, you to go through the epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata, in Indian context I am saying, great heroes were who? The great values. It was said, Viravogya Vasundhara, that means the bravery, the mitre. So every great heroes were great fighters, you will see. And who is the strongest? The fighter and the brave, they were respected most. But then came a time, people not gave a lot of value to bravery and heroism and jingoism, etc. But they have started respecting other things, that who sacrifices, who loves, who is sympathetic, empathetic to his fellow beings, and even at his own cost does something. So the moral values, subtle values are getting more recognized, and this is progression of moral values coming. But when we see a decadence in the crisis, very educated people are doing corruption, and even doctors are going to are becoming killers. Engineers are taking bribe, and the bridge collapses. Our highly educated mass, if you do they like this, and also we spend a lot of money. There is a paradox that Einstein, who was the father of this nuclear bomb, he praised the most peace-loving man of the world. Perhaps Mahatma Gandhi was praised maximum by Einstein, though he himself was the creator of the bomb, right? So in that context, you have to see. That is why may it be beneficial. And one question very pertinently was asked by Prashant Babu, that actually, can we make people by a moral by teaching them or imposing legal laws on them? This morality comes from within. Morality does not come from without. That is by imposition, by amending a law, you cannot make people moral. That is what the belief is. So people become moral from within. But how they have this potential? This potential is depending on their awareness of all the moral systems, comparative systems. So a person who gives importance to dignified life, self-respecting life, cannot easily be corrupt. So this much philosophy can teach them. and I think you will take a clue from this and say something what you got from my points. Thank you.
Lakshmi Priya, do you want to say something?
Sir, I want to say something. One thing, man is not perfect without humanity. We have got education from big universities, but we are not really educated. We know the values, but don't live those values in our practical life. We are rational, but not moral. Sir also said, a highly educated and skilled doctor can steal human organs from the patients. A highly educated person can rape a little girl. This is only due to the fact that they have education, but not really educated. That I want to say. Actually, education is now far away from the ethics and values. So, education is now from the material property and within in the power and position, wealth and power. So, education has lost the purpose of education. So that I say. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Lakshmi Priya, from what Dr. Kailas sir has said and what you said, so values are in a real sense value, they call values, if they find expression in practice. If there is no practice of what we call value, then such a value system makes no sense. So this is what we can conclude here. Now, well, let us move to Dr. Roy for a brief question from him.
Our topic is sufficiently discussed. Now let us move on.
Okay, thank you. Now, let's move to Dr. Kailas Mahana sir for the last paper.
Okay, thanks so much, Lakshmi Priya, for the beautiful clarification. And you have also tried to answer the questions raised by our learned judges. And Professor Kailas Das has inspired all the students and scholars, those are connected in the virtual platform. And so he has reflected upon the present crisis of values and shared his wisdom to lead, how to lead a practical life that is amongst all kinds of the crisis of life. And very beautifully he has submitted his observation. Now over to